Hi, Ulum. Ready for round two?
Ready for round two. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You're rocking the Global Village t-shirt there.
I am.
Excellent. We'll hear more about Global Village a little bit when we discuss the track that we have, the PPLT track.
Yeah.
Teaser for the PPLT track right there.
Yep.
So today we're going to look at a few workshops, continuing in our discussion here about what's on the menu for the NOFA Summer Conference happening July 30th. And today we're looking at a few livestock workshops that we have on the program. Right away, there's the family cow.
The family cow. I mean, what a name. How can you not go to that one? The family cow. I think every farmer in some point or another wants a family cow. I'm scared, but I have goats. Everybody told me, why you didn't go with a cow first? I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Should have started easier.
Yeah, I think I admire folks that have a cow. I think it's a big step. I'm a vegetable person. I don't have livestock except I do have worms. I have a few worm bins.
Okay.
Maybe
You
if
don't
they
have
fit on.
chickens?
I don't have chickens. Nope.
Hmm?
No, vegetables and worms.
Okay.
But yeah, the family cow seems just like a nice step for some folks that are interested. And with the pandemic happening, there's a lot of folks got chickens, and I think maybe there's a gateway livestock situation there going where you go into goats next, or maybe a cow.
I think the cow, you know what? After I got the goats, everybody said, no, you should have gotten to cows. It's apparently cows are easier. I can think any other animal easier than goats.
Wow.
There's escape artists. They eat anything and everything that they shouldn't eat. Yeah, I had to put one goat down.
Oh,
And the bill was already $1,200.
yeah.
So now think about it. But I really like the idea that this will tell you all about it so you can make the right decision. This is what I
Yeah,
need.
absolutely. Yeah, and Christy is our colleague, excuse me, our colleague at NOFA here, and she's really excited to have Sarah Davis with her, who Christy admires and works with. So I think they're going to be a great team.
Yeah, this is great. I definitely not gonna miss that one.
So we also have a Western Massachusetts, how do I say, a semi-famous. He has a really awesome name, Ridge Shinn, and yeah, he's the founder of Big Picture Beef, which is an aggregator. So you can bring your animals to him for I believe finishing and processing. So he's doing a workshop called Carbon Capture with Cattle, and I love I love that angle. Of course, coming off of last night's discussion with Ray Archuleta and Christine Jones,
Yeah, it was. Is a great. Yeah, I guess a great segue.
Yeah, really good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, and he's just solid. He's a solid guy and a solid presenter. So, yeah, I think that's going to be an asset for folks interested in that carbon relation to having livestock. And then we have Kirby Lecy doing Coop considerations, which I always read it as, even though I'm reading this a million times every day, I read it as co-op. But
Yep.
yeah, I love this, assessing the design elements of poultry housing, which we all want to design our systems. We all want to design, right?
Yeah. It's really, really interesting. I'm really, really excited about, I have my own issues. Sorry.
Ghost.
I have food in the middle of it. Sorry.
I love it. I love it. Perfect.
Mama.
Yeah, you make it.
You were talking about this.
Yeah.
You were talking about.
These are the things that we don't edit out of the videos, right?
So eat it. Say hi.
Hi.
And say bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Well, now I'm gonna be eating in the middle of the video. No, so no, I love the idea because poultry has changed in the last 10 years, you know. And yeah, I always wonder if everybody that has chickens have the same questions, but I have a lot of questions about how to, because you never know what size of flock you want. I think you always, that's a question in itself. So I love it as somebody with so many years of experience is able to share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe she convinced you to have chickens after this one.
It's not out of the question, but it's not out of the question. I do love my eggs. I love getting eggs from our local farmers, and we have a friend that drops off eggs, and they come straight from the coop, and I wash them myself, and makes it quite real, and I love that connection.
We don't wash our eggs, and that is probably something good to ask, how to add that to the design, because most of the people I give the eggs to, I have a sheet and I print the sheet when somebody's new and explain why I don't wash the eggs. But it has to be somebody that and is some other stuff. Most of the eggs go to friends, so I don't even sell them. But yeah, it's interesting. I really like that idea.
I want to hear more about that, because I'm maybe in that category of, wait a minute, the eggs are, I don't mind getting unwashed eggs, and I'm thinking, well, I need to wash these eggs, and they come in various, levels of kind of dirtiness sometimes. Sometimes they're quite clean. So you don't wash them yourself, but you recommend they wash them, or you don't wash them yourself because your system works and stays pretty clean?
They stay pretty clean. I don't have a big operation. I have like 17, 18 chickens. So I get like 10, 12 eggs a day. Some chickens are older than others. And this year we decided not to buy chickens because we're gonna move to organic, and you cannot move these chickens to be organic. It has to be a new flock. So they might be meat soon, or a friend for somebody else, and just a pet chicken. And we collect it in the morning and the afternoon, so they don't stay very long. They never stay in the coop for more than 12 hours. And I think like the diet and the cleanliness of the coop has a lot to do, but they're pretty clean animals if you keep them and I move them around my pasture because that keeps them healthy, and it keeps my area clean also. But I haven't had issues, and I don't wash them, and I tell people to wash them before they cook them. But if they're gonna keep it for more than a week, then 5 days after they get it from us, they have to wash them. But if I give you a dozen of eggs and it's 2 of you, you shouldn't have eggs left after 5 days.
I imagine.
I think that is probably the ideal. Like if you get the eggs today, you count 5 days, which it will be like 7 days if I kept it for 2 days. But I never had more than a dozen in my counter. Like people come and go to my house and it's like, do you have eggs? My neighbors always ask, people call me and I drop them off and have a cup of coffee with my friends. It's a good way to meet people.
That's very farmy and community oriented of you. So,
Well, it's not enough for having a sale.
yeah.
I don't have enough chickens. When I had 40, that was a different story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm fascinated, but I'm still not gonna make
Not
the
convinced.
decision to go there
Okay.
yet.
You have to be committed.
Yes, yes. Great. Let's see. Moving on to some of, I guess what I would consider just interesting workshops, or
Mhm.
maybe in the miscellaneous category, but interesting workshops that I'm happy to have. Here we have Reflecting on 10 Years of Fostering Urban Farming in Springfield, Mass. With Ibrahim Ali. And it's great to have him on.
I can't wait.
Mhm.
I can't wait. You know, he's a personality, and I did a lot of urban farming before this in Providence and in Worcester.
Mhm.
If he's watching.
Yeah, there was a wonderful session with Ibrahim and Sister Anna Gilbert Muhammad, who works with us, on a webinar. I believe it was, oh, I'm not actually sure who hosted it now, but they were both guests, and the discussion was fantastic.
Ooh,
And
we're gonna look in the library of the YouTube live.
yeah, maybe I'll have to find the link for you. It was a great discussion, and yeah, I had some nice phone calls with Ibrahim as we pulled together this, his involvement here. So he's going to tell us about his 10 years working at Gardening the Community in Springfield. So he did a lot of work there, and built up some systems and worked with a lot of people. And I'm really excited for him to, just tell the story of being there, and yeah, just more of a storytelling kind of session, which I really appreciate, that style of information conveyance. Like,
Mhm.
I learned so much from story itself, and
Yeah,
just hearing someone talk about what they're up to. It was so educational just by hearing. So
it's great.
yeah, yes. Right, and then we have a standalone solar-powered automated drip irrigation system, which this is a workshop that we requested Dave Schmidt to come back with. He did present this workshop maybe in the 2019 summer conference, I believe, or I'm sorry, maybe in one of our winter conferences, and it was just such a hit. So we have invited him back to do this. It's almost this dreamy, idyllic kind of, again, talking about design and system thought, like
Yeah,
closing the loop of a system is so attractive.
yeah. I mean, he's my neighbor, so I know Dave.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that. That's
Yep,
fantastic.
he's around the corner.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Neat.
He cringes every time he comes and see my tunnel, and he's like, "No systems."
I love it.
I mean, his worst nightmare. I'm the least systems person, so I'm
Great.
pretty sure I could be a case study for him.
And vice versa. Like, there's always, that's why everyone's welcome, right? In the how we do it.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah, I've been checking it out. Because sometimes I'm like, yeah, maybe I should have a fan, when it's 120 in my tunnel.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, should I just open the skirts or not? Maybe tomorrow. If something died today, maybe I do it tomorrow. Yeah, I will check it out.
And we also have another, like, systems-based workshop too, Adventures in Micro Farming, how to set up your own small scale indoor worm farm and microgreen system. And this is with Julia Latady and Ben Goldberg.
Nice.
And that's, I'm super into worms. I love my worm bins. And this is fascinating because you can combine your worm bins with this is actually like livestock, utilizing the health and wellness of the worm bins to create your planting system. So microgreens and worms, this is a fascinating combination to me.
Yeah, it's a closed loop system, huh? It makes sense. I always had worms when I was in the city, and now that I'm not in the city, I have my compost piles, and that's where my worms are. But I am really excited. If I upgrade my compost operation, I'm gonna add chickens and worms to it. But maybe I should learn a little bit more before I decide to do it. So
yeah, I think it's a nice combination because there's certain things that certain things the worms don't want, and you can put them in a compost, and maybe things that you can be more selective about with your putting them in the compost and giving them to the worms. And I think there's a nice way to combine those two systems or let them work together for any household, really. That's what I'm striving for.
yeah, and I always try to figure out what the balance is, and this sounds like it also give you a good understanding of how to manage your worm bin, because that it is a science in a way.
Yeah, it's a science. It's nice to have guidance, and I think this is particularly geared toward it's not towards scaling up. This is geared toward a homeowner, a gardener, so it's more on that smaller scale. So folks are just they're foodies and they have a nice garden and they want to venture into this, I think the guidance Julia and Ben will provide will be solid. Yeah, all right. Let's see, we have next on our list is our, I'm sorry,
we move into the nerdy one.
we're going to the bioremediation nerdy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have 4 workshops that fall under the bioremediation topic. So folks that are interested in regenerating soils or highly degraded soils or soils with toxic levels, we have 4 workshops with basically presenters that come to us through some grant work that we're doing here in the state of Massachusetts, to assist folks that are interested in bringing soils back to life, healing soils and making them plantable. And so there's a lot of resources here in this presenter base that can provide guidance and resources for all kinds of situations, urban situations, rural situations, places that were dump piles or just highly degraded soils that really need help. And this kind of like track starts with a biochar discussion with Deborah Cook. And when we spoke to Deborah Cook, Deborah really, really loves biochar. And within 30 seconds of meeting her, she just expressed how much she loves biochar. It's incredible. She just absolutely loves biochar. And I'm glad for that. And I'm glad that biochar is continuing to get trials, and its promise is becoming more of a reality, because I think early on biochar, it came and then it went. And I think it's, I think there's a nuance to working with it.
I think it's interesting because traditionally we do burn bush, which is like basically a natural way to do biochar. And I yet to see the combination of both. And I mean, I would love to hear more like the conversation she had here about, the Quechua people in the Amazons,
Mhm.
with control fires and all that. If that, if she has figured out the relations on that, and yeah, I'm I want to hear more about it. But yeah, biochar went, like you say, came and went. I think is an excellent add-on.
Yeah.
I think it's like everything, it can be really good, but if you don't know how to apply it, you can
Yeah.
also not be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think where she's coming from. She's kind of wanting to make sure folks know that we're saying it came and went, but you know, it you need to know how to maximize its efficacy or create the situation that it's going to allow it to give you what it's promising. So that's what she's after here. I'm excited. I'm excited to have it there. I'm in the same along the same lines of working on that lower level there of soil that we once again have encouraging indigenous microorganisms with Marco Thomas, which we touched upon in the last video as well.
Mhm.
And Marco has a organization or a company called Microbes by Marco, and he's handcrafting microbial nutrient inputs, which I love it. It's
Yep.
so nerdy and so
Useful.
utility and
I mean,
useful.
I think especially if you doing small gardening, in the city with the soils are so not useful at this point, or not usable, not useful, but not usable for the purpose of growing food. Or so it's great to have someone to tell you how to figure that out and
Yeah.
to remediate that.
Yeah. Anything that's leading us toward increasing biology is right. Just cultivating that biology is really a major, just really the solution lies in biology in so many ways.
Yeah. Yeah. After last night talk, I was really, really thinking about, you know, things that she said that I can relate. I'm like, I hate to see bare soil. And it
Mm,
has been since very little.
mm,
It just so looks so unfertile in a way, or, so dead. And it was interesting to say that that is a natural feeling. It's not a natural process. Um, so yeah, basically we're like killing all these bodies, that actually are so important. And basically it's like having the internet chopped up. You don't have your soil web. It's like it's the same thing. You can't connect it. You can't get what you need if you're not part of a big network. That was pretty amazing.
that's a good analogy because yeah, how are we gonna you keep the internet doesn't exist if we don't have that web like connectivity,
Yeah.
and we do we break it up every spring and then try to allow it to rebuild itself or have to fix it.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. Then we're going to get an update of the work that NOFA Massachusetts has been doing with this grant, because they're 2 years into bioremediating a few sites in
Mhm.
Massachusetts, and so that's progressing. So you're going to catch up to Andrew Lorian, who's our colleague at NOFA, and that is like a timeline check-in and see where it's at, and you can just get a window inside an actual process that's halfway in, and it's like there's another year and a half left into this actual project, and I think it's a great opportunity to look inside a real-time situation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think also the opportunity to meet these young scientists and get inspired about young people getting really, really into the science of bioremediation. Well, as an educator myself, was like always so excited to feel that is another wave of educators out there excited about what we get excited sometimes, and be able to pull it out with their peers and you know really help the community. I mean, this is for the love of their community and for trying to have access, to a better food system. So I'm excited.
Mm,
I love
yeah.
it. And I love to hear Andrew talking about all the things that he had tried, and
Mm,
the scale and how he like really see this in his mind.
yeah. That's a great point, because yeah, bringing in the youth into this, seeing them get so interested and they're really going to take over the world is really what's
Yeah, I
happening.
hope so. Man,
Yeah,
we need that.
yeah. And then I suppose what we have time enough for today here, we'll end on the last bioremediation related one, which is relating, bringing in mycoremediation. So mushrooms in mycoremediation with our friend Willie Crosby of Fungi Ally.
Mm,
And yeah, it's centered around that discussion of using mycelium and mushrooms for remediating soils, how that ties in, how they can be beneficial. Um, so he's going to try to connect some dots there, and he's part of the project as well. So we'll catch up on his discoveries. He's a scientist as well. He likes to experiment and
mhm.
discover. So that'll be interesting to see what he's discovering.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really looking forward to like have this conversation on like on the science of what kind of mushrooms you should be looking for, what that means in your soil, because
Mm,
it is a very good indicator. But sometimes some of us, I include myself in there, you can see it happening, but is what did that mean? It's good, but good for what? Like
yeah,
if you grow vegetables, you know that some things are good for some vegetables, some things are not. If it's too acidic, it's good for some, but if it's not too acidic, it might, then you can use this.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting to really think about that as an ecosystem. And mushrooms, I love mushrooms.
I love mushrooms too. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I see mushrooms and I'm like, yeah, that's good, right? But I don't really know
Yeah,
what it means.
yeah,
Yeah.
what it means. I guess is a half truth. They're
Yeah.
good, but not good for what.
Yeah.
So we're gonna come out of there like knowing all these things, and then having more questions as I always come out of every conference.
Yeah, absolutely. More questions, and of course in these sessions, you can ask a lot. You can ask questions. You can ask questions in the chat and maybe come off of the mic, and they'll all be Zoom meetings. So, and I think one of the nice aspects too is, you meet the presenter. You can always send them an email and connect with someone that you might actually, use as a resource for a long time. So,
Yeah,
it's one of the great things about a conference in general, to make those connections. And in the Zoom world now, we're doing it, and we connect and get their contact information, and it's almost like it's livened up and made this more useful that we've
yeah,
done so much time like this.
yeah, yeah. I yeah, I have learned in this last year that a lot of the things has given us a chance, like last night, to have talking to two people in two totally different time zones, basically in the other side of the world,
Mhm.
and talk to them like we're sitting next to them in the kitchen table
Yeah,
in a couch
yeah.
by the fire. Is that what we were trying to do? Yeah. Thank you for the time and to be able to like really explore. I'm more and more I'm getting more pumped to get to the time to hear about all these folks, and it's still more to come.
There's more to come, yeah, and I'm looking forward to. We're gonna look at the rest in the next few days, and we'll share it here. And hopefully, this is valuable to folks that are watching. And I'm looking forward to the next session. So thanks you for your time as well, Ulum, and
it's good to see you.
Moving on. Right.
Okay.